The bicameral parliament shelved its afternoon business to tackle the elephant in the room, with Chief Justice Maraga having cast the House into uncharted waters for failing to enact the 2/3 gender rule. Maraga, in his damning advisory to the head of state, insisted that MPs will have to pay in pain for the country to gain the gender milestone.
That if this parliament is dissolved, the next election will bring more men than it is today.
This matter is now in the hands of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Maraga's red card finding MPs flat-footed, the reaction from the House typical hostility in the face of a perceived siege.
In fact, every time we were discussing, the women went to New York. They went to New York. In fact, one time we reached 2008, there were over 32 women who were missing. Been in this parliament, and the time of voting when it was here, they were away in New York to gain allowances, Mr. Speaker, as opposed to advancing this. It is really shameful, Mr. Speaker. And Honorable Wanga was one of the leaders who went to New York at that time, Mr. Speaker. And he's been ahead shouting all over.
I have never been in New York at a time when this House is voting on a critical matter as the 2/3 gender principle. I have been here every time.
I cannot withdraw. I'll go to the Hansard and substantiate, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Amalwa.
The lawmakers training their guns on the Chief Justice, terming his move populist.
I have seen people outside saying, oh, Parliament must go home. Go home where? We are going nowhere, Mr. Speaker. We are going nowhere. We are going nowhere for sure. Our term ends on 8th of August 2022.
None of us can say with authority that they know how the president is going to deal. He can't actually dissolve parliament. And once he dissolves parliament, you are home. Personally, I'm not scared, and I'm willing to go home, and I'm willing to be elected or be thrown out, because it's not about me.
The 5th schedule talks about 50 laws that parliament is to enact. 50, not 1. 50.
It is not about your electability. It is not about whether you will be re-elected or not. It's about this principle of parliament being used as a punching bag.
MPs acknowledging that the country faced a constitutional quagmire, with the adversary to the president subjected to different constitutional interpretations. Rarieda lawmaker Otiende Amolo says the constitution did not only place the burden on parliament, also pointing out that dissolution of parliament will affect other arms of government.
If you look carefully at our constitution, all the elections are lumped together on the same day. The president is to be elected on the same day when the governors are being elected, when members of parliament are being elected, when MCs are being elected. And all of them use the same day of the general election, and the date is given. Any consequence, in my view, of dissolving parliament must of necessity dissolve all those other bodies.
If you read the entire constitution, no law again gives Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, nor the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, any power to dissolve parliament.
Ongezea wabunge 80. Je, watakaa wapi? Huo ndio ukweli. Huo ndio ukweli wa maneno jamani. Na mficha uchi mheshimiwa Speaker hazai.
But every cloud has a silver lining. Mr. Speaker, the silver lining on this cloud is that now members of this House have a chance to look at the various contradictions that we have in our Constitution and see how best we can resolve them. The only way to resolve these contradictions that we have in the Constitution is through the BBI process.
With the confusion clouding Parliament, Speaker Justin Muturi held a crisis meeting with the entire Parliamentary Service Commission and resolved that PSC will move to court to challenge Maraga's advisory.
If it is unconstitutional, let everybody pack up and go home. Or wish a person. I mean, it can't just be Parliament becoming everybody is punching back, you know. Surely it's not right.
If the president feels that we should all go home, I think I'm ready.
I'm ready for elections even tomorrow.
If there is a failure, then it is a failure that is collective to everyone.
Muturi accuses Maraga of attempting to plunge the country into a crisis without exercising wisdom as his office demands. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV, Nairobi.